I mean, give him his flowers, laugh, because to be honest, that's all I could do watching that performance. Zach Lowe, I want to get into this with you. What statement did Jokic and the Nuggets send last night?
I mean, that he's the best player in the world and that they are out for blood in this series. Think about this. Down 2-0, pushed to the brink. Championship hopes, repeat championship hopes. That's the pressure you're under. 2-2 series against the best defense in the NBA by far this season, and the defensive player of the year doing every possible scheme to get under your skin, switching matchups, switching tactics, switching everything up, big bodies everywhere. You put up 40 points and 13 assists on 15 of 22 shooting with 0 turnovers. And by the way, you do it in every possible way. Step back 3, check. Running a pick and roll as a 7-footer multiple times, check. Cutting from the perimeter into the paint, catching on the run and scoring multiple times, check. Beasting the defensive player of the year in the post over and over and over. You might want to send help, even if it's Rudy Gobert, because he ain't doing anything against Nikola Jokic. All of it, no-look passes. We might watch basketball for 40 or 50 years, and in the playoffs, maybe see, maybe 10 offensive games that good, considering the efficiency, the volume, and the stakes. That was Nikola Jokic's magnum opus so far in the NBA, and the Nuggets needed it because this defense requires it.
Magnum opus, Perk.
That statement game last night, that statement by Nikola Jokic, that wasn't just to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That wasn't just to the rest of the teams that are in the postseason. That statement was to the all-time greats to let them know that he's coming for their spots. And when I say all-time greats, I'm thinking about the center position. I'm talking about, damn it, Akeem Olajuwon and Shaquille O'Neal. Let me explain something to you. I believe that Nikola Jokic is already the most skilled center we have ever seen touch the damn basketball. But with 3 MVPs, 1 final MVP, one NBA championship, if he goes on to win another NBA championship and a finals MVP with no other all-star, all-NBA caliber player, he moves up into the ranking, and I believe he becomes a top 10 player of all time.
Hey, Perk, I agree with you. I agree with you. You got to credit Jokic and you got to credit Coach Malone for switching up the checklist. The checklist is usually the pick and roll. Then we got the slide on the baseline. Then we got the KCP cut. That's the checklist. And if you can guard those things, then you graduate to the Joker going one-on-one. The checklist has been flipped. I'm going one-on-one first. I'm going one-on-one second and third. And then if you bring help, I'm going to spray. I'm going to make guys better. So the mentality of the Joker has changed. He's already been great. His greatness has been shown, but I think he's changed his mentality in this playoff series to score first, score second, score third, then make other guys better, as opposed to doing those things first.
Yeah, he's been I mean, it's funny just because a couple of weeks ago we were talking about, when he won that award, everyone thought it, should have been Shea. I even myself tweeted, I was like, man, I would have liked that award to go to Shea. And I understand it's a regular season award. But he did just remind not only Minnesota Timberwolves and the Legends, just really the whole world, how good of a player he is and how he's the best player in the NBA, and he has been that for quite some time now. It's one thing to have 1 year in a row, 2 years. I mean, it's been the past 4 or 5 years. This guy's been the best player in basketball, man. Dominating. His game might not be the most attractive, the most appealing, the most sexy to watch, but it's the most effective. And he dominates with the ball, without the ball. We talk about his plays. We talk about his assists. We don't talk about the hockey assist. We don't talk about just the good offense he creates. How many times he gets a guy open, and then there's a better pass to be made after that, and they have a team where they all trust each other. He creates the best efficient offense that we've seen. His numbers don't lie either. They back it up. He's incredible.
Before we get to the Minnesota side of all this, Zach, last word.
Yeah, I crunched the numbers on this last week, and I factored conservatively for games played and minutes played. If he stays healthy for the next 5 or 6 years, to Perk's point, he's going to get himself into statistical clubs where there's only like 5 or 6 guys. I'm talking about 20,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists potentially. There's one guy, I believe, in NBA history that's in that club. and it's LeBron. And before that, he's going to get to 20,000, 10,000, 5,000. I think there's 5 or 6 guys in that club, and it's all-time Pantheon greats. And that's factoring conservatively to the point that he's age 34. Perk is absolutely right. It is time to start talking about this guy in those kind of conversations, because if he stays healthy, we're going to look at his numbers in 5 or 6 years and say, oh my God, this guy is doing this. This guy is in this club, because that's where he's headed.
And this is about Nikola Jokic and what he was able to do. I don't want to take anything away from that. But in talking about what he did last night, it's hard not to also look on the other side, where you have the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert and Nikola Jokic shooting 8 of 9 in those matchups against him. So when you were looking at that, UD, what did you see?
Policia. Call for help.
Is that French?
How you say police in French? How you say police in French?
Yeah, there you go.
Policia. Call for help.
What are you saying to him in the locker room?
First of all, Bam ain't 6. Bam's 6'10". He ain't 7 feet. But what I will say is that 2-man game that they run with Murray and Joker gave us hell. That immediately let us know we was on a different level when we were playing against them. But, I mean, you're the Defensive Player of the Year. I understand he's Joker, but 8 for 9, we just looking for some a little resistance. Just a little resistance. You know what I'm saying? Just something.
Thank you.
And at the end of the day, foul out if you got to. I mean, foul out if you got to, man. But don't keep getting fried like this. Yeah, we can't watch this.
Go ahead, Perk.
And look, here's the thing. We're talking about a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. And I understand Jokic. We just praised Jokic, and rightfully so. But damn it, you got to be in the fight. UD could contest to this. When you in them trenches and you're playing against the lights like we were, like Yao Ming, the Dwight Howard in Orlando, Rasheed Wallace, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, you had to make things tough. Again, we watched another 4-time Defensive Player of the Year and Ben Wallace give Shaq hell when he was in Detroit in 2004 when the Pistons went on to win the NBA championship. Right now, he's just being too nice. The physicality is not there. And so when you think about Jokic, you think about Rudy. Yes, Rudy has to play better, but I'm going to tell you one thing that Anthony Edwards have to grow to. When you look at last night, I thought Coach Malone game plan on Anthony Edwards. They were trapping him, mixing it up on the traps. They were saying someone else got to beat him. Anthony Edwards got to go to the film room and figure out ways where he could be effective offensively and sit down with Coach Finch and get those moments and where he could get downhill.
Mike Conley, that's so much more difficult.
Well, hold on. They also need some help from a variety of other guys. Karl Towns has been pretty solid. Rudy Gobert's definitely got to be better on defense. I agree with both of you guys. But Jaden McDaniels is the next factor for Minnesota, man. This is a guy who has the capabilities of scoring over 20 points in a game. Naz Reid is a 6th man of the year. The last 3 games, both of these dudes have been around 9, 10 points, 7 points, 11 points. Like, they need 16, 17, because that's what they get from Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon had 19 and 10 last night. So they have key guys, especially with the absence of Michael Conley, because Nickeil Alexander played really well. He stepped in and actually did his thing last night. They need their key players. If you're going against the best team in the league and you don't have the experience on top of that, you need guys to step up. And I'm not saying play out of body, but play what we've seen. I've seen Jaden McDaniels have that impact versus Kevin Durant, one of the best players in the world. I've seen Naz Reid dominate and been a force off the bench all season long. They need these guys for them to be able to compete against the Nuggets if they have any shot of forcing 7. Otherwise, we're going to see the same thing. And by the way, just to end it out, they need to double that dude. Enough's enough. Gobert's a great defender. You cannot ask him to guard him one-on-one. Some of those shots last night that he shot, bro, there was perfect defense. This dude was playing all angles on the glass. We're talking about the greatest player in the world right now. He needs to see 1, 2, 3, 4 people swarming him. Make someone else beat him. I know AG beat you in game, 5? Game 4? We see it again. I need to see him hit those jump shots again. You got to live and die by something. It can't be live and die by Jokic.
Right.
That ain't going to work.
So you were on a team that went up 3-0, lost 3 games in a row, and then gutted it out in Game 7. How can the Minnesota Timberwolves do the same? You
got a better chance of wrestling an alligator than beating us 4 games in a row. That's got to be the message. That's got to be the message.
I don't want to wrestle.
You got a better chance of wrestling an alligator than beating us 4 games in a row. When you walk in that locker room, that's got to be the message that's coming from Anthony Edwards. We can't see nobody in this world that's going to beat us 4 games in a row. We got to be mad. We can't see that. That can't happen. That's just got to be mentality. And if you don't believe that, then maybe this ain't the place for you. But we got a better chance of wrestling an alligator than losing 4 in a row.
Someone go get an alligator and bring it to Minnesota.
That's some Florida talk right there.